not humid.
Morning, Jason. When are you scheduled to take your state test? Saturday? Your class test?
Yes, Saturday.
Awesome.
Jason finally got approval to take an auditory test. His ADHD or HADHD. What was it? You need to have 6 of the cues out of the test they give you. Jason had all 19.
Yeah. I'm an overachiever, I guess.
Yeah. Well, when you're going to do something, do it big.
Go big or go home.
Yeah.
We still love you, even though if you're a little different.
Hey, different's good, Jason.
It is. I thank God that all the time. This has been the roughest 2 days I've ever had.
Why is that?
Our lives just keep getting like, so best laid plans of mice and men. I have this list of things I'm going to do on my little time thing, and we have a grandson in the house part-time.
Yeah.
And
You don't have to say
yesterday,
anymore.
yesterday, well, both my son and I work from home, even before the whole lockdown thing.
Yeah.
But Mama doesn't understand that means we still work. And she's like, well, just come pick him up and take him over to Nana and Tata's. Okay, so we do that. Oh no, we decide they can't have him over there today, blah, blah, blah. Come get him again. So we're just constantly disrupted.
And you kind of want to be like, listen, people, this is not how it works.
If it was me, my son and I have already had this conversation. If it was me, I would have been setting boundaries way back. But he's much more, not passive, but it's like, Mom, it's a temporary hardship. Well, yeah, but it's causing me long-term hardship. You know.
Yeah, I had my youngest grandson here for 3 months, almost 4 months. And then I drove him to Huntsville to take him back before I went down to Georgia. And, you know, it was homeschooling and everything else. It's, you know, it is. I do miss him terribly. But,
Yeah, I love the little critter.
but it's, yeah, you have to get your work in there. So trying to balance everything. It's challenging sometimes.
Well, normally if I don't have, if he's not around and things don't get done during the day, I have most of my energy is at night. And so I just stay up late and work at night.
Yeah.
But he drains me.
Tess, next time that you have them and you need to do some work, try some NyQuil and duct tape. That works most.
On me or him?
No.
Good morning, guys. It is 8:02. Let's start rolling our morning. Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Miss Gail.
Morning. Morning.
What interesting things have happened to you that you need help with? It's a light class today. I think Wednesdays are our lightest because everyone joins the all partners meeting. It's good.
What's
though.
after?
Yeah, right after.
So
Yeah, they figure I'm not. They'll figure I'll go to the meeting instead of double dipping. You know.
Right. So the one thing I think we can really focus on, I'm hearing a lot more of, because things are starting to ramp back up in the craziness of the world, is I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait. Ride it out. I'm going to wait to see what changes. I'm going to wait to see what happens. Anyone encountered that lately beyond the first version of it?
Hearing it from other agents, I haven't had it happen to me directly. And the deals I've done during this whole thing, all three of them were like, let's go.
Yeah, rock on, let's do this. But I am
My main issues are working with people who want to quit renting, which is great, but they don't have any money, have terrible credit, and may or may not have a job. And they want me to pull a rabbit out of the hat and get them a gorgeous home tomorrow. It's like,
that might be the scripting point. How do we deal with unrealistic clients?
Ooh.
Raise your hand if you've dealt with someone like that.
Well, not in the real estate world, but in the engineering world for sure.
Yeah, you've got the expectation of some that we're able to do anything. Just make it happen. Just make it happen. You can do it.
yeah, she was looking at a $255,000 place, and credit score's 520. Has saved up a little bit of money, little bit. And I'm just like, oh my, like, well, let's get you in to see a lender and maybe a credit counselor. I mean, well, can't you find me someone who'll just sell it directly to me? Like, I can try. I mean, I guess I'm exhausted. So it's like dealing with someone that's this unrealistic. I'm just like, I'm over
That's,
this.
that's when you just have to come to Jesus meeting and say, look, until you reach these points, there's nothing that can be done. And when you get there, let's contact me and let's go. But until then, this it's one of those don't waste my time kind of thing. So don't waste your own time on somebody. You always want to keep them in the loop, but if they're that far out, you got better things to worry about.
Well, that's why I'm kind of depressed too. It's like I'm calling and working with people and trying to reach out, and I'm getting this, this one sweet little old lady, her total SSI income is $600 a month, and she wants to buy a house, and I'm just, oh.
Sometimes, guys, and this is the guys and gals, this is the dumps of our business, is sometimes you got to say that that's unrealistic. I try to not say no. I try not to say no. I tell people I'd love to say yes on this. When they're unrealistic completely, it's having the conversation with Teresa. I know that you want to buy a house, and I know that you're tired of renting. Your financial obligations in relation to the amount of money that you can bring in may make that impossible. If you want to find out the exacts of what you need to do, I recommend you talk to a lending professional. I can get you set up with one of my lending partners, and we can have that discussion, and they can highlight the things that you need to do in the order that you need to do them in order to be able to qualify for a house.
Yeah, that's almost word for word what I've told multiple people. It's just like going down the line over and over and over. I've had that conversation 10 different people probably last week.
What are the three things that are driving each kind of buyer? A rental to a buyer, what are they looking for? Free money.
Yeah.
Down payment assistance, free money. From a move-up buyer, a buyer to a better property, what are they looking for? Inventory. They're looking for options. They're looking for opportunities. And sellers, what are they looking for?
Money, buyer.
Top dollar.
What the top dollar, well, not the
They want
market.
to know everything about the sale of their house. Some of it's an emotional thing, but they're looking for the most money and the highest value and the easiest return. So
Yeah.
those clients we're working with, Teresa, are going to be difficult. They're going to be the hardest ones. They're no different than a seller that's saying, I want to sell my house for $250,000. Well, Larry, I completely understand you want to sell your house for $250,000. What's important about that number?
Mhm.
And then get the information. Well, Larry, the market dictates the price, and based on the research I'm able to gather and the stuff that you've already said you've seen on Zillow and the other websites, your house doesn't even touch near that. what makes you think that your house is that unicorn that will justify that price? You get whatever response they give you. It does not matter. And you can hold off and go, well, that's great. There's 3 options here. If you want to sell your house, we can either price it above market and hope that we get that one buyer that's a cash deal that's not going to have any kind of appraisal contingency. We can price it with the market and try to get that 30 to 40% of the business that's looking for this price range, or we're going to price it right below the market, drag in a ton of opportunity to potentially get ourselves in a bidding war. What would you like to do? Notice everything was tied back to the price being what? The market.
Market, yeah.
I gave one, the one in a million chance that the one person's going to buy this house. Or do you want to actually get the house sold? Sometimes they just throw out numbers because they're like, well, I owe $100,000 and I want to net $100,000 and my fees are like 50 grand. So $250,000. But that's why we ask that question. What's important? Why do we ask that question, guys?
Gain insight, information, understanding.
Get to the motivation.
Test hits the trigger word. 2 points. Motivation. Why are we
It also get them thinking. It also helps them to stop and think.
just like your rentals, Teresa?
Yeah.
What is it about owning a home that's wanting you to make this change right now? And you can find out the disparity they're going through. Well, I'm tired of this, or I want my own parking spot, or I'm really tired of landlords and not doing, but that's all the things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not everybody is going to be able to own a home in their life.
No.
It's sad. It's disappointing. But it's the truth. And if you take care of, right, Emily?
I just got finished working out, so I'm a sweaty mess. Trying to pound my peanut butter toast and drink my protein
Emily, she's
drink.
like, oh God.
Oh,
God.
yes, I'm dying. But yes, that's way to point it out. Come on, Dan.
Hey, it's all about the comedic breaks in this stuff. But
The other frustrating part is, and I've had this happen, unfortunately, is because I think I finally figured out the one buyers who are notorious procrastinators. A lot of people don't like to be told what to do. Of course, I'm the same way. But my job is to give people options. This is your options. You make the decision. And when you lay it out, it's their decision. And then but if you prompt them in any little nudge, if the mortgage officer's calling me, what the heck's going on? Why aren't your clients doing anything? And then I'm like, hey, Craig's looking for you. You haven't been answering his calls. So then they get annoyed with the agent, and then they move on to another agent because I'm trying to get them to do what they're supposed to do. Does
A
anybody?
lot of times it's about asking questions versus telling or saying this or this, but just asking questions to get them to that point. It's a hard flip in our head because we just want to say, hey, you got to do this or you got to do this. And I mean, sometimes it does come down to that, but a lot of times you can ask the right question to get them to answer it the way that you want it to be answered. It's a hard twist, but it's the way that works the most in my clients. I mean, like I have the couple of people renting right now, and some are just crazy. They're just crazy and they're never going to do it. And you just say, okay, but I'm here for you when you make that decision. But people that are actually motivated, it's asking those questions to get them super motivated to find that flip when they're like, oh yeah, I do want this interest rate, or I do want this house, or I don't want to rent forever, or whatever their motivation is.
what kind of questions do you ask, Emily?
A lot of it is that match and mirror and then reflect what they just said. So you're saying that you want to, own a home.
Yes.
So what's the next step in this process for you?
I don't
Well,
know.
I got to get my down payment and I don't have that and da 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 da. Okay, so how are you going to get that down payment? What are your options to get that down payment? Well, I guess I could talk to my lender, or I guess I could talk to my parents, or I guess I could save for 3 months, or oh, so you want to save for 3 months? Okay, great. So what are you going to, how much are you going to save every week? Well, let's see. Well, I have this job. I could get some more work and say 300 or 4, and so it just kind of goes along those lines down whatever rabbit hole they want to focus on, and then you just kind of hone in on that motivation. And then once you have that piece of it, so okay, so you're saying you're going to have $4,000 so you can get this FHA loan in 3 months. Great. So when I call you next week, is it okay if I call you next week and see how you're doing saving? And just that's what I do.
But I guess I was gathering from Teresa, it was like one of those timeline things where you have a certain number of days to get certain pieces of information from one party to the other party, and it's not happening.
Are
Well,
you
then you just
talking
have to
about-
ask the questions about the lender. If it's that lender question of I need to get my taxes, or I need to get this or this, that, or the other, you still, if they don't do it, that piece, maybe they do want to wait 3 months, and then you have to say, lender, sorry, you can't make your commission. I can't make mine either, but we'll save it for 3 months. I don't know. You just have to get their motivation and get them everybody on the same page with them feeling like they're leading the cart instead of you pulling the horse.
Get a lot more done that way, don't we?
Teresa, I had a situation kind of like what you're talking about once, and I needed to gauge, where they were. So, and I'm like, here's the steps. It's black and white. Step number 1, you need to get a lender. Okay. So you talk to the lender, and as soon as I said that, I could see kind of a deer in the headlights thing. So I finally thought about, hey, ask some questions, probe a little bit. So I said, the first thing they're going to want to do, real simple, is just get some copies of a few pay stubs, possibly your tax returns for the last couple of years, bank statements, things like that. Are you feeling that you're ready to take that step? And that way you can gauge where they're, well, I'm not, I don't, I'm, yeah, and they him and haw. And then you can, again, establish it as that's going to be the first step to this whole picture. So when, if you're not quite ready to do that yet, or you don't feel confident to do that yet, talk with your husband, wife, whatever it is. Let me call you back in a couple of days and let's revisit this. But that truly is our starting point. I, as a real estate agent, really can't go to work for you until a lender has you ready and in position to buy, because the current day Arizona's purchase contract states that we either have to show that you have the lending ability or have the cash ability to make the offer on the house you're interested in. So that's why this is step number 1, and that's why it's so important. And yes, it's kind of daunting to expose your financial situation to someone, but that's their job, and that's what they do with every single person they work with. And they will work with you if there are some credit issues and so on and so forth. They opened up that whole conversation to try and bridge that, but also at that point, I'm like, am I wasting my time with this person? Should I, put them in the I'll call you in 2 weeks bin? But give them the chance. Talk with your husband, wife, whatever it is. Let me call you back in a couple of days and let's revisit this. And then at 2 days later, like, now we're really not ready to do that. Now you're going to call them in a month.
Yeah, because I don't want to take anyone out to look at houses that's not pre-qualified.
No, right? You just tell them, we can't even go looking at houses until you're pre-qualified. We'd be wasting our time. And by the time, if we don't have that pre-qual, that house will be gone by the time you get there, because the market's moving so fast. So, I don't want to run you over and make you feel like, scare you in any of this. We can make this happen, but that first step is the lender, and those are the reasons why.
That's a great start. Right?
Dan, what are your steps in a buyer consultation?
No, that's what I was going to get to. This is all how you hedge it out in a buyer consultation. The sweet sound of progress, process, systems, and models. It's almost like we talk about this stuff all the time. Almost.
Even when they get a prequal, just a little offshoot of that, I just had a client. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're really well pre-qualified." So yeah, they got pre-qualified for 400,000, but I'm looking over their prequal and they haven't provided any documentation. So I'm like, this doesn't look good. All they did was the credit score. So I did follow up and say, moving forward, it would be really great if you could get those W-2s or pay stubs or taxes in. It'll be a much stronger pre-qual because that makes a real difference to some sellers if they see that all that documentation.
Who does a pre-qual without documentation?
A
So
lot of people.
Online.
That makes me nervous.
Guild Mortgage.
Not that I'm ever going to say anything bad about Guild Mortgage, but I'm going to say something bad about Guild Mortgage. Their process has been proven to bite agents before. They got some great loan underwriters and some fantastic people there. But I will tell you that it is your agent's responsibility to make sure that you are coordinating every aspect of that transaction.
Can you say who that was again? You sort of blipped out.
Guild.
Oh, okay.
There are certain lenders, there are certain title companies that I have found that are not the most agent centric. They're not making your life easier. They're good for the clients. They do a decent job with client and customer service. But when it comes to a strategic partnership with you as the agent, it's very difficult for you to run a business when you have to run everyone else's.
Well, I've had one agent there that's just really, really good. So
Yeah. And that's what I
It
said.
all depends on the person, you know, what.
I've used 5 different LOs from that company, and all but one have been just fiery hellholes. My own personal experience. So
There you go.
multiple deals, not just one deal each. It's multiple deals with 5 different LOs.
Mhm.
But the one thing I've learned from all of that is, as we start here, is having that expectation up front of our buyers. What's expected of them, what's expected of us, what's going to be expected of our lenders and our title partners, and having that conversation well in advance is really going to help you line out a better experience and allow us to give an experience worth giving. It's going to allow us to hedge out any potential concerns. I love that Mara brought up the fact about the prequal not being filled out. Like, check that. You can see on the prequal, if you're a listing agent, you can see what's been submitted. You can see where they're at, if they are indeed relying on closing costs. But if they haven't submitted W-2s or taxes or anything like that, you want to look at it and be like, hey, we have some problems here.
That's
What?
one thing. It takes him a little longer, but Craig with Keller Mortgage, he pre-qualified, I mean, he pre-approves them. It's not,
Yeah.
so it's a pre-approval, not just a pre-qual. He verifies everything.
Yeah, Keller Mortgage has actually been really great. I mean, I've only used them a couple of times, but they've saved my clients thousands of dollars, and they've been right on time every time.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's awesome. I haven't used Intralend yet, but I do know Debbie Chop, one of the main pushers of Intralend. She's affiliated. My words are tough this morning. Affiliated with Fairway Mortgage, and I've used Fairway a lot. I love their process over there. Again, it goes back to who you work with. I've also found some Fairway agents that are just dumpster fires too, and I'm like, you need to like submit their loan, right? So.
Yeah, PRMI is great. Priority One lending is awesome, especially if you have like some craziness going on. Kurt over there is amazing at figuring out that,
Send me his contact. I'll give him a shot.
Yeah, Kurt Fenster is crazy good. If it's going to happen, he can.
What-
He's my creative guy.
I can tell you that Aaron Leal and Deb Gostad with Movement Mortgage that we used to have in our office, but they literally on my $861,000 deal and on my $650,000 deal, they both found ways to make it happen that 3 other LOs couldn't make happen.
Who is that again?
It's Aaron Leal and Deb Gostad with Movement Mortgage.
Yes, I have.
Both of those deals were in trouble until they got involved. They made them happen.
I think, Dan, you said Fairway, they will actually lend on mobile homes too, right? Affixed mobile homes.
They will. They will.
So what's the
Oh,
difference?
and Kurt Finster over at Priority One, I think they're the only ones that will do. I'm doing $1 million deal on a VA loan. It's a jumbo and it's a VA, and they're the only ones that are doing jumbo VAs. It's great. It's amazing. Anyway, sorry.
It's awesome.
This is good. This helps. Everyone was taking notes. Like, who do I call? What do I do?
Yeah, yeah.
I really feel like you need to have 3 types of lending resources. You need to have the creative one, the one that's like you said, Teresa, not much income, not very good credit, needs some help. Get them there to have a good credit repair plan, and they walk them through how to do it. You need somebody that's that murky water middle deal. You know, decent credit, decent income, has some potential, also does the VA, FHA, USDA, knows those avenues real well. And then you need the rock star credit people, the people that have the best rates. They just do things quickly, in and out, not a whole lot of show, just a lot of go. Because you got clients that know that they're 800s and just want things done.
Yeah.
And you can get 2 out of the same lender, just you got to know their programs. You got to know how they handle it. But you also know that some lenders, they're just really good at being creative. Talk to them about how they handle the prime clients, how they handle those A++ deals. And then, like Emily said, a $1 million VA loan, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
So find out who's willing to do stuff like that. I want every one of you to have a deal that big.
Dan,
Yeah.
can you tell me a little bit about, I see that on mobile homes, you can accept any kind of payment, but can you speak to being concerned about, like, people are concerned about taking VA or FHA? Is there any reason to be overly concerned?
If it's not a fixed,
Okay.
it has to be a fixed, which means it has to have the metal strapping from the frame of the manufactured home embedded in the concrete underground.
All right. It's a fixed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
the,
if straps are-
Removed too.
they have to be strapped down.
yeah, they actually have a form. It's kind of like our affidavit of disclosure for properties outside of the city limits. There's the affidavit of a fixture, which turns it from a mobile home that's personal property into an actual single family residence
It's
manufactured.
available through your county assessor's office.
Yep. And every loan every deal that has a loan on a manufactured home is going to have an engineering certification. And that engineering certification is what Test does, but it also sets up for them to know that the house has the proper fixtures to make it real property, as well as done correctly so that it doesn't become a liability for the lender.
Yeah, I researched that. They said the buyer usually pays for that, though, because they need to prove it to the lender. The seller shouldn't normally need to do that. Does that sound accurate? This is my first manufactured home. Can you tell? Listing one. And I've done a little bit of research, but I don't want to screw it up.
Yeah, so USDA, just make sure you're within the rural areas. VAs, just make sure that there's no water damage, paint damage, roof damage. FHA is similar. FHA is really hard on paint damage. Not so hard on water damage. Very hard on the floor coverings not being around.
Okay.
So you can't have bare concrete unless it's stained properly. When I say properly, because people just paint bare concrete, that does not count. It has to be treated correctly. So those are your main loan types. USDA is becoming more and more robust as programs help out. The problem is their jurisdiction areas are narrowing. So just make sure you check out the USDA.gov or whatever the website is. I just Google search USDA qualified and it pops up the map and I go look at it. And pretty much if it's out of Tucson proper, you've got a USDA opportunity on it.
And when people think that accepting those is going to cost them as the seller more money, that's just not really accurate anymore, is it?
Nothing's going to cost the seller any more money on doing a deal unless they agree to pay closing costs.
Yeah.
Your
Okay.
title fees, your escrow fees, your closing fees are all similar across all lines of loans. The only one that's less expensive is a cash deal.
Right.
Because you're not splitting Alta policies and shit.
And then for anybody who's new, if you're on the listing side and people are not providing you the LSU, the loan status update, ask for that because you want to know that, and the other side's not likely to be providing it, and you're getting closer to closing, and you're like, I haven't heard a word on how their loan's going. So it's really good to ask for that LSU.
You'll
There's
get
one
lots
specific-
of conversations. Yeah, that's awesome. Lots of conversations with lenders, and you'll forget to get an LSU. Trust me, if they say one thing, they put on an LSU, you'll look at something different. Like, wait.
Yeah, and also remember, you can deliver them. You can ask them, "Do you have the Arizona form?" Because they want to just send out their own letter as like an LSU type of thing. They pre-qual as well. I've gotten pre-quals from lenders, and they're like, "I'm like, no, this needs to be on an Arizona form. Do you have the Arizona form?"
We go quiet. Everyone just quiet. It was awkward silence.
I think they're all waiting for you.
I'm soaking all this knowledge in.
One last.
Okay, so here's the squirrel. So if you want to see something funny about kids going back to school, because I have a kid going back to school today, there is a hilarious something on Facebook anyway. It's about an Alabama high school principal, and you can't touch this, and it's hilarious. So if you grew up in the 90s like I did, and MC Hammer, and you can't touch, oh my gosh, it's the most funny thing ever. Okay, go on. Let us commence.
Did you say it was YouTube?
It was on Facebook last night. It's an Alabama high school. I'll have to find it, but oh my gosh, it is so funny. I love it.
Likely to go viral.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's doing the AC Hammer, little line dance thing with, a 6-foot measuring tape between students, and everyone has masks on, and oh my gosh, it's just pretty funny.
Thank you. Are you?
Good laugh for your hump day. Hump day.
Mikey, what day is it?
It's hump day. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Hump day.
God, I feel we're flat today. We are definitely flat today. It's okay. Mara's hair looks amazing.
Go fight, win.
I took a shower this morning. It was so exciting.
I haven't gotten it. I have that sticky,
Thanks for
salty feel right
noticing.
now.
Yeah, Emily's ready for one.
Yes.
Well, the
Show
good
your
thing-
guns, guys. Let's go.
We got 30 minutes before the amazing All Partners meeting. Do you guys like the All Partners? I think it's great having everyone.
Today's stats class.
And today's stats. We're going to get to that. Today's stats. They
Yeah.
just emailed out the stats about 10 minutes ago, so you should have those in your inboxes.
Yeah, love
Yes.
stats.
It's all about being a market expert, not a marketing expert. Love you, mean it.
A little bit about
Everything.
both.
Go do great things today. We'll talk
See you in 30.
Bye, guys.